Hook, they say real strength isn't measured by rank or medals, but by how you treat people when no one's watching. At a Navy base in Virginia, a decorated SEAL thought his uniform made him untouchable until a quiet janitor, a single dad just trying to make ends meet, showed him what honor really looks like. And when a 4-star general walked into the middle of it all, every soldier on that base learned a lesson they'd never forge. Hey everyone, welcome back to your channel name, where we share true stories that remind us of the power of kindness, respect, and second chances. If this story touches your heart, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories like this one every week. It was just another cold Monday morning at Naval Station Norfolk. The hallways were buzzing with the sound of boots, radios, and orders echoing across the hangars. Among all the uniforms and stripes walked a man in a faded gray jumpsuit, his name tag read E. Daniels. Eli Daniels was 42, a single dad raising an 8-year-old daughter named Grace. He'd been working as a janitor at the base for a year. Quiet, respectful, and always early, Eli didn't draw attention to himself. He came in before sunrise, mopped the corridors, polished the floors, and kept the place spotless. Most people just passed him by. But what no one knew or cared to ask was that Eli hadn't always been a janitor. Once, he wore a uniform too. He'd served in the Army for 12 years, before a back injury during deployment forced him to retire early. When his wife passed away from illness 2 years later, Eli's world nearly fell apart. He took the janitor job not because it was glamorous, but because it was stable and it allowed him to be home when Grace got out of school. To Eli, the job wasn't beneath him. It was an honest day's work. But to some people on the base, like Lieutenant Commander Ryan Cole, a decorated Navy SEAL in his 30s, Eli was just the janitor. Ryan had a reputation for being tough and fearless. He'd done multiple tours overseas and had medals to prove it. But he also had a habit of letting his pride get the better of him. To him, respect came from rank, not character. One morning, Eli was cleaning near the officers' briefing room when Ryan walked by with 2 younger SEALs. They were joking loudly, their laughter bouncing off the walls. Ryan noticed Eli mopping and smirked. "Careful there, Chief Mop," Ryan said, stepping around the wet floor sign. "Don't outrank us with that broom." The younger SEALs laughed. Eli just gave a polite nod. "Morning, sir." But Ryan wasn't done. "Tell me, Daniels," he continued, "you ever think about aiming a little higher? Or did janitor school not offer promotions?" There was an awkward silence. Eli forced a smile and said quietly, "I'm just doing my job, sir." He turned back to his mop, trying to brush off the sting. Ryan shook his head, grinning. "Guess not everyone's built for the big leagues." Then he walked off, still laughing with his buddies. Eli kept cleaning, but the words stayed with him all day. He wasn't angry, just disappointed. He'd once been taught that the military stood for respect and brotherhood. But somewhere along the line, some people had forgotten that. That afternoon, Eli stopped by the base daycare to pick up Grace. She ran into his arms, holding a crayon drawing of them together. In her picture, Eli wasn't wearing a janitor's jumpsuit, he was wearing his old Army uniform. At the bottom, she'd written, "My hero." Eli smiled, his eyes misting. Whatever others thought of him didn't matter as long as Grace was proud. A few days later, the base held a special ceremony. A 4-star general was visiting, General Alexandra Holt, one of the highest-ranking officers in the U.S. military and the first woman to lead that regional command. The whole base was buzzing with excitement and nerves. Eli had been assigned to help set up the auditorium. He arrived early, laying out chairs, adjusting microphones, and making sure everything looked perfect. Ryan and his SEAL unit were scheduled to attend as part of the security detail. As Eli was vacuuming near the front row, Ryan walked in again. "Still polishing floors, Daniels," he said with a smirk. "Guess the promotion didn't come through yet." This time, a few people nearby overheard and laughed. Eli simply replied, "Every job's important, sir. Even this one." Ryan rolled his eyes. "Sure it is." Just then, the base commander entered, followed by General Holt, a tall woman in her late 50s, her uniform crisp, her medals gleaming.
The room snapped to attention.
As she walked down the aisle, she paused for a moment to thank the staff setting up, including Eli.
"Thank you for your hard work," she said warmly. "This place looks immaculate." Eli nodded respectfully. "Just doing my job, ma'am."
Ryan, standing a few feet away, chuckled under his breath. But the general turned, her sharp eyes narrowing slightly.
"Something funny, Commander?" Ryan straightened. "No, ma'am." But she wasn't fooled.
She'd spent decades reading faces, understanding tone.
The ceremony began.
General Holt gave an inspiring speech about leadership, respect, and what it means to serve.
Halfway through, she said something that made the room go still. "True honor isn't about the rank on your chest," she said.
"It's about how you treat those who serve beside you and those who serve in silence."
She paused, looking around the room.
"I've seen people clean floors with more integrity than some who wear stars." Ryan shifted uncomfortably. And then, to everyone's surprise, General Holt called someone forward.
"Mr. Eli Daniels," she said. "Would you come up here, please?" Eli froze.
Whispers spread through the crowd as he walked to the stage, wiping his hands nervously on his jumpsuit. General Holt smiled at him.
"Mr. Daniels, I understand you served in the U.S. Army for 12 years, including deployment in Kandahar. Is that correct?" Eli nodded. "Yes, ma'am."
She turned to the crowd. This man carried his brothers through enemy fire. He earned the Bronze Star for saving lives. And today, he still serves, by keeping this base running, quietly and humbly.
You could have heard a pin drop. Ryan's face went pale.
General Holt continued, "Service doesn't end when the uniform comes off. Every person on this base, from the highest-ranking officer to the janitor who keeps our halls clean, deserves respect.
Because we are all part of the same mission."
The audience erupted in applause. Eli looked down, embarrassed but touched.
He'd never expected to be recognized, especially like this.
As the clapping died down, General Holt added, "Kindness is a form of strength.
Never forget that."
She shook Eli's hand firmly, and for the first time in years, he felt truly seen.
After the ceremony, Ryan approached Eli in the hallway.
He looked awkward, almost boyish without the arrogance.
"Daniels," he said quietly. "I owe you an apology." Eli smiled gently. "No hard feelings, Commander." Ryan shook his head.
"No, there are hard lessons, though.
You reminded me of one today." "Thank you."
He extended his hand.
Eli took it.
And for the first time, there was mutual respect between them. Over the next few weeks, things changed around the base.
People started greeting Eli by name.
Officers who'd once walked past him without a glance began thanking him for his work. Ryan even arranged for Eli to speak at a leadership seminar, sharing his thoughts on humility and teamwork.
Eli didn't see himself as a hero, just a man doing his part.
But his quiet strength had sparked something powerful.
Kindness doesn't always roar.
Sometimes it's quiet, steady, and lived out through small, humble actions. Eli Daniels reminded everyone that dignity isn't about titles or uniforms, it's about the heart behind what you do. When General Holt said kindness is a form of strength, she wasn't just talking about military life, she was talking about all of us. No matter who we are or what we do, we have the power to lift others up instead of tearing them down. So the next time you see someone working hard behind the scenes, thank them.
Respect them. Because sometimes, the greatest heroes are the ones holding them up instead of a medal. And that's what real honor looks like.